What's going on? AJ here, and before we get the show started today, I want to let you know that this episode of the STGeek Podcast is brought to you by MUZMM.com. They make these really killer backpack / duffel bag fusions. Peter from the show just received his order that we talked about last week. He got the large charcoal design. Pretty dang sick. He's able to fit his laptop in there, all sorts of zippers and pockets in there. He's taking a trip to China soon, which is pretty hype because now he's able to keep all his knickknacks around while he's walking around on the go as well. Some of my favorite designs that they have though are the watermelon for sure. It's almost like a heather pink coloring to it. You could say it's pretty chill, though my main jam that they supply would be the big Caribbean design. Pretty dang sick as well, must say. And if you want to save 20% off your next order while simultaneously supporting us, you can go to muzmmm.com/discount/STGeekPod to save 20% on your next order. Again, that's discount code STGeekPod, or you can go to muzmmm.com/discount/STGeekPod. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. It's STGeek Podcast episode 19. Let's freaking go.
So it does look like there are rumors that Marvel is looking to replace Hugh Jackman, finding a new Wolverine.
It's only a matter of time, right? It was.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He killed it with Old Man Logan. What more do you want the actor to do at this point? And he's old.
Yeah. As much as I would like for him to kind of just not play Wolverine anymore because Logan was so good, that should be his coup de grace, if you will.
Sure.
Yes.
He should just walk out after that, because anything that he does after that is only going to kind of put a damper on his legacy as Logan. I feel like going out on top is the way to do it.
Right.
Having said that, I can't believe anything Marvel says anymore. I just can't.
Sure.
I don't even fucking know. This could be them fucking with us. I don't even know anymore.
For sure. Yeah, a curveball, you never know. I mean, maybe he'll be in Infinity War, or Endgame. Who knows? I don't think that'll ever happen, at least not anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
But if we'll probably get a cameo somewhere down the line. I'm hoping so, because in the end, he's still Logan in my mind. He'll always be the cool Wolverine to us, even though he's had... Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily Hugh Jackman's fault, but not every Wolverine movie has been the best, or X-Men movie for that matter, that he's always in.
Right.
So,
I would agree.
But I did love in First Class. I mean, again, we know that he's willing to do little fun cameos. Yeah. What do you say, fuck off in First Class?
And then only you say, go fuck yourself.
Oh, go fuck yourself. There you go, yes.
What a perfect time to say the F word.
Yeah.
Yes. You're allowed to say it once in a PG-13 movie.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect time.
They saved it for Wolverine, the perfect character to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. No, but yeah, it is a sad thing to see, but again, it's nothing that we didn't see coming already, eventually happening. And I thought Logan was going to be his swan song anyway. Is that the right way to put it?
Yeah,
Swan song is
so.
like your exiting of something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then, yeah, it is sad to see. But yeah, who do you guys think would be a good Wolverine, I guess, to take up the mantle?
People have been saying Tom Hardy.
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing that around. But he's Venom now.
I think that'd be okay. Venom. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that played Boomerang who looks like Tom Hardy?
Yes.
That
there
guy.
We go. Get that guy.
That guy potentially do it. That's actually not a bad call. Yeah, I mean, after Hugh Jackman's performances throughout the years, I can't think of who, off the top of my head, who is ready to do something like that, essentially. I could see maybe Tom Hardy, but after not being a fan of Venom, pretty much at all, I kind of just want him to steer clear of superhero movies and just do his own Tom Hardy thing like he's been doing all along. I don't know.
Well, they're making a Venom too, so you're going to have to sit through that again, AJ.
I'll do it, and I'm looking forward to it. I love Woody Harrelson. I'm not a fan of what he looks like as Carnage, but I'm sure the special effects, I'm hoping the special effects, they'll bump it up quite a bit for the second Venom movie, because, I thought the first one looked kind of trashy for the most part.
They got really lucky with that movie. That movie should not be as good as it is. Not to say that it is good.
It shouldn't have performed as well.
It should be much worse, and it should have performed much worse. But they're going to take the wrong lesson, like studios always do. They're just going to be like, okay, more crappy CGI. That's what the people want. That's what they love.
Right?
Black blob, gray blob. Let's fucking do it.
Let's do it.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I agree with that. It's terrible. But yeah, hopefully we get a great Wolverine down the line. Again, we'll see who the next up-and-coming actor will be, because that was like Hugh Jackman's first like breakout role, was it not, as Wolverine in the first X-Men movie?
In the Americas for sure, but I think he was pretty big in Australia prior to that.
Yeah, I think he did a lot of stage work, actually, a lot of plays and musicals. Because he's actually a pretty good singer, I think.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, very much.
Les Miserables, he was in that, correct? I haven't seen it yet, but I heard he does pretty spectacular, even if the movie's a bit of a slog, a little bit of boring. But anyway, we do have a lot of trailers to be talking about, actually.
Fucking many trailers.
Let's start off with one of the early ones that came out last week during the Super Bowl, Hobbs and Shaw from the Fast and Furious franchise. Just to top this off, I have to say this, or just to start things off, I really don't care for the Fast and Furious franchise whatsoever. I loved the first one, and every single one since that doesn't hit the mark for me.
Not even Tokyo Drift?
Tokyo Drift was okay.
Oh my god.
I like Tokyo Drift a lot. That might be my favorite.
I don't know. I just didn't. I thought it was fun.
The main character's accent in that movie is really jarring at first, but you get used to it.
I remember him being in like a Disney Channel movie back in the day, so I was already ready for what he was going to sound like.
Okay.
But otherwise, I mean,
you were ready?
Yeah, I was ready. I mean, he's not a bad actor or anything like that.
He looks
but
like a discount Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
doesn't he?
yeah. Poor man's Channing Tatum easily.
Well, Channing Tatum's kind of the poor man's Channing Tatum these days.
I mean, who knows? Maybe,
Channing Tatum for Gambit.
Yeah. Hey, if it happens, I'll be excited for it, but we'll see if that ever comes around. But anyway, yeah, not the biggest fan of Fast and Furious, but this looks like a step in a fun direction for them. These movies, I feel like one thing I give them some credit for is that I feel like they don't take themselves too seriously, and yet they kind of do at the same time, which turns me off. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. This one just seems like it's going to be just nonstop fun.
Well, let me ask you this: how many have you seen?
2.
About 4.
You've seen 2.
I think I've seen about 4 to 5.
You're pretty good to end there, John.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you
I think
saying?
I've seen about 4. I think I saw Fast 1. I saw Tokyo Drift. I saw Fast 4, and then I recently saw Fate of the Furious. And
fancy name.
Oh no, I didn't see Fate of the Furious. I saw Fast 7.
Fast 7. Okay.
So I've seen
Paul
about
Walker's
4
last
or so.
one.
Yeah, Paul Walker's last one, which had a nice little send off.
How many
I
are
guess
there total?
There's 8 now,
There's
without
8.
9, including Hobbs and Shaw.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I've seen all of them, and I gotta
okay.
say the early ones are the best ones. The first one's pretty damn great.
Okay.
Second one's a little weird.
I heard that one.
Third
was
one
a miss.
is probably my favorite.
Okay.
And then the fourth one, they were still taking themselves pretty seriously, and then by the fifth one, they were just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck everything.
Roller coaster
And that's
ride.
when it started having fun. Like I like all the movies for what they are, especially the more recent ones. Because they're so stupid and over the top. It's so ridiculous.
It's just an action movie, right?
I love it.
It's what it is.
It's off the wall. Like,
It
yeah,
makes
it's ridiculous.
no sense, none of it, and that's why it's so funny. They just play into it. They just run with it. It's so great.
Vin Diesel drives out of one skyscraper window and flies into another skyscraper. It's just
Oh my god.
The one
and
that
he makes it. Of course,
the one that introduces Shaw,
Yes.
Jason Statham's character.
I think that's like
He's
5 or 6.
he's like an ex MI6. He's supposed to be one of the like top secret agent people ever, like top martial arts, weapons, all this shit.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, Vin Diesel just beats him up with a pipe. So any cholo from East LA apparently can take on an MI6. Like, it's so stupid. I love
Right?
it. It's so great.
And Vin Diesel's just a guy that grew up on the streets. Yeah,
Yes.
essentially. So yeah, no military training or anything like that.
Nope.
He just loves a Corona. That's all he needs.
I think it's like they fight with like a pipe and a nightstick in like a weird lightsaber type battle. Like,
Wow.
it's
Oh my
pretty
God.
weird.
Yeah. And then isn't there a fight scene where there's Vin Diesel and The Rock fighting each other? And The
think that's-
Rock is like 20 times bigger than
The
Vin
Rock
Diesel.
would destroy Vin Diesel
in
an
a real
actual
fight. Yeah. And I think Vin
Especially
Diesel's
these
character,
days. Maybe Vin Diesel Prime might stand a chance.
Yeah, it's crazy to
Maybe
think
Vin
at
Diesel
one point
Prime.
he used to be like The Rock.
Yeah, he was that
Years
guy for a
ago.
minute. And then he started jet skiing with a motorcycle in the water.
Yeah.
God dang.
Have you ever seen that picture of him, like when he let himself loose for a
Yeah,
month
when he
and
really
his
let
fat's
himself
just
go.
hanging out?
Oh, really? No, I
Yeah.
have not seen that. I mean, I think he's a charismatic actor. I love
He's
him
great,
as
yeah.
Groot and all that. But I mean, he's definitely not the hard ass he used to be. That's definitely
No.
The Rock's turn now, for sure. And I think he might be older than Vin Diesel, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, they look about the same age. But yeah, this movie looks fun though. It's like they're taking a superhero turn on it.
Finally,
Yeah.
the past 3 movies, they've all practically been superheroes,
Yeah,
and now they're
that's very
officially
true.
taking that turn, and they have an actual superhuman
With
in
Idris
this-
Elba as the villain, which I'm actually really excited for.
I love Idris Elba.
Yeah, he's great. Yep.
And he looks great in this movie too. It looks super fun. Again, not taking itself too seriously. It seems like a new age buddy cop movie for sure.
Yeah.
I love the title. It feels like it's from a TV show from the 80s.
A little closer, Mike.
Yeah, sorry.
John?
Definitely feels like it's a TV show from the 80s.
Yeah, agreed. I would have to say, yeah,
I can
Hobbs
see
and
that.
Shaw. I agree. Yeah, but it looks like a fun
Starsky
movie.
and Hutch type.
Yeah.
Turn
I
off your
gotcha.
brain, just watch the explosions and fight scenes go on kind of movie, which I'm looking forward to for sure. But yeah, any other things you guys want to talk about Hobbs and Shaw?
Nah, that's about
Nope.
it. There's
Seems
not much
like
else to
fun.
say. Yeah.
All right, and then next up, a trailer you wanted to talk about, Peter, was Child's Play 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. It looks pretty cool. Aubrey Plaza's in it. I don't think any of us have ever seen the Child's Play movies. We
Nope.
just talked about
Too big of a
earlier
sissy,
before we
yeah.
started recording.
Yeah, it was a movie we were all kind of afraid to watch the series anyway. And yeah, we're all afraid as kids, and nowadays it looks dumb. But this trailer looks okay. I might go out and see it if you guys want to see it for like
Yeah, it
an
looks
episode
pretty
one
cool.
day.
It's got some like right at the end you get some like I get some Saw vibes when you see Aubrey Plaza like tied up and
Yeah.
gagged and stuff. So I'm curious.
That's
It
not the
has
reason
my
you're going to
interest.
watch it, right?
No, no. I'm gonna see it because of Aubrey Plaza, and because from what I can tell so far, it looks like a halfway decent horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder
They
how
don't
they're
show
going
too
to...
much, but
Is it going to be the Chucky, the doll itself, tying up Aubrey Plaza so intricately like that, though? I don't know, like how they're supposed to be.
you already
kind of
suspend disbelief because it's a fucking walking, talking doll.
I guess that's
that's a
fair.
murderer.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only one way to find out, AJ. You
gotta
can
go
watch
watch
the
the
movies.
I'm fine with seeing it, I guess. Well, let's see if they can talk me into it when that movie comes out later on this year.
I'm
Probably
just
around
glad they
October.
finally rebooted it. They've been making sequels to that forever.
Yeah,
That franchise. I think the most recent one was only a few years ago.
Was it The Bride of Chucky, or was there one after?
I think it was
one
the
even
Cult
after.
of Chucky.
Yes,
I think that was
sounds
the
right.
most
Oh
recent
my
one.
God.
Yeah, they
Yes.
were still making those damn movies.
Something
so
like-
just start it over. It's about time.
If anything, it almost seems like unnecessary to even make another, or even reboot it for that matter, just because, again, it feels like it wasn't that long ago that we got the last Child's Play movie. So, I mean, it's not a series I've ever really been interested, at least not since I was like 7 years old. But, I mean, I'm willing to watch it for the show if we end up running to review it.
The new trend in Hollywood seems to be instead of remaking old movies, to just make a sequel to a really old movie.
Sure.
That's like the new thing. By the way, have we? This wasn't in the notes at all.
It's all right.
Excuse me. Have you heard that they're going to make a RoboCop sequel to the
Yeah.
original RoboCop?
Oh, whoa.
But they're ignoring, I think.
They're ignoring it's a sequel to the first RoboCop. So they're ignoring the second and third.
Oh, wow. I mean, I'll see it. Why not?
pretty happy about it.
That is
It's
pretty
a
weird that they're
great-
kind of just rewriting history from there, though.
It's a great idea.
mean,
It's just a different spin.
Yeah, like an alternate
Especially
universe
since
of it.
I believe anything after the first one is kind of considered bad, right?
The third one is god awful.
I like them.
I liked them because I was a kid.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
They had claymation, like robotics in that movie.
It's not
kinda
even so
silly.
much that. It's just the plot is so ridiculous, and maybe the special effects do have
but
something
he got
to
a
do with it.
jetpack.
He got a jetpack. He fought like a samurai robot man. Like I don't. It's weird.
The recent reboot that happened like several years ago, I kind of like that one. That one had a decent, I guess, origin story to it. He was just a cop and he got blown up, and now he kind of has to try to relive his life after that. And it's kind of more of like a story of like rehabilitation of not only the body because he gets blown up literally, but also like his mind and emotions as well.
That's pretty much the plot of the original one too.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
Coming to
I
terms
feel
with
like as a
being
kid, he
human.
spoke so robotically. I didn't really empathize with the character whatsoever.
alive,
At least
you're
in this,
coming with
in
me.
the most recent reboot, it was a little more relatable, I think. But that was just me. Actually, the reboot had like one scene in particular that kind of haunted me for a few days. It was kind of gross.
You brought that up to me several times. I've never seen that movie.
Never saw it?
But
It
I
was just-
remember when you would tell me that, definitely.
There's just a scene where it's just his body, his heart, and one hand, and that's all that's left of his body at all. And he's like the only reason he's alive is because they're still able to send electricity to his brain and heart. That's what's keeping him alive.
You should see the original. AJ.
Really?
You should see how he dies in the first place.
Oh Jesus!
It's pretty intense.
Should we watch RoboCop 1 for the show? Maybe as like a little bonus
To
episode.
leading up.
I'd be down.
Okay,
I haven't seen it in a while, but that image is burned into my brain.
All right, cool. Then I'm down. Maybe we can review both and see which one is the better out of the two. I'm down with that. All right, well, moving on. We have more horror stuff to talk about. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Guillermo del Toro. The spooky books that we used to see as kids on the shelf that I would not pick up.
Neither would I.
They're pretty much these books are known. Is it a series of books, Peter? Do you know?
Yeah, I believe it's 3. I could be
Okay.
wrong about that, but yeah, I believe it's 3. And they actually started publishing in the late 80s, and it kind of just carried over into the 90s.
Gotcha.
Was
Kinda-
each book a different series?
I think
or?
they all have just short stories
Yes.
in them.
essentially.
I don't
So
think
he
there's
just
a
got to
continued
pick from like
narrative.
25 different short stories.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Because
yeah,
it looks
and
like
pick
it's
the
going to be a
best.
movie with 3 different stories in it, right?
Perhaps so.
How's
I
that
mean,
gonna work?
I
It
feel
could
like
be an anthology.
the bite-sized trailers that we do have online, they don't really tell as far as who the main characters are and if there will be a continuous story from beginning to end or if it will be short stories throughout the film. I'm interested to see what Guillermo del Toro pull off of it because I feel like these books in particular are known for their, again, haunting imagery for sure. The illustrations are sometimes pretty disturbing, while others look a little silly. There are some that are just like, whoa, that's pretty freaking gross, especially for little kids to be reading it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well,
and
it's even weirder when you think that the demographic was specifically for younger audiences.
yeah. I guess back then kids were a little more hardened. I
Like
suppose.
said, watch RoboCop.
Yes.
They took this R-rated movie and they made a kids TV show out of it.
Wow. Okay.
They did that a lot in the 80s. I don't know what you can get away with a lot back then.
I guess so, right? A little less PC for sure. But yeah, I feel like Guillermo del Toro is like the perfect guy to probably try to bring these gross illustrations to
100%.
life. Just the little
Yeah, I'm
tiny
all in.
bits we get in these bite-sized trailers is already kind of intriguing to see. Like, oh, whoa, yeah, I think he's going to capture the tone very well and capture again the imagery as very well. I'm excited to see what he's going to do.
His forte. Like it's right up his alley. So I'm excited for that.
Nice. All right. And then Peter, what was something else you wanted to bring up?
There's so many things I want to
I
bring
know,
up,
right?
AJ. Okay.
Go ahead. Throw out one for me. There's Umbrella
Academy.
Sure, okay.
There's that trailer that we got to saw,
Yes.
which looks pretty cool. You were just telling me before we were recording that the lead man for My Chemical Romance,
the front man from Gerard Way, from My Chemical Romance,
He's
is
the
like
one
the
that-
writer and creator.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And it looks interesting. I like this.
I've heard it's good, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good as well. It's supposed to be really. It kind of looks like I don't know, like a mini X-Men, like a first class, so to speak. You know,
X-Men kind of Watchmen-esque.
Yeah,
in the
I got a
yeah.
vibe out of that.
with like a darker vibe to it all,
Right.
Which is kind of intriguing about it. And you two actually went to high school with one of the lead actors in the show, right?
Yeah.
I thought that's pretty cool. I mean, who knows?
Not to
Maybe we can-
brag.
No,
I knew him
Be
once.
jealous.
Once upon a
I
time.
spoke with him a couple times.
I'm
so-
pretty sure you hugged me once. So
There you go.
ladies, be jealous.
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, it looks like a cool show. I might want to try watching this on Netflix for sure.
Oh no, I'm definitely going to see this.
Yeah.
This looks great. Did we get a release date in that trailer? I didn't notice.
I don't recall.
It was like 2 weeks after the trailer. So, and that trailer was released, I want to
I
say
think a
last
week or two ago.
So,
it might
soon.
be up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. But yeah, looks pretty fun. Next up, we do have Shaft 2019, starring once again Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
Looks like a fun ride.
Speaking of making reboots to old movies,
Yeah.
I believe the Shaft.
Sorry.
Come on,
I
Andrew.
believe the Shaft movie came out in the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s even.
Yeah. No, I think late 90s.
I remember it
I
as
went
a
down,
kid,
it was
probably
1999.
90s. Yeah, I want to say maybe early 2000s at the very latest. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this
Looks
looks
fun.
fun.
Well humored. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but fun action. This looks like a perfect movie I want to take my dad to go see for sure.
Yeah.
It's like a Samuel L. Jackson.
My dad
being
owned
Samuel
it
Jackson.
on DVD.
Oh,
I'm
wow,
pretty
there you
sure
go
I
then.
watched it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Well,
saw the original when it came out.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't remember anything about it. I just remember liking it.
As a kid, I wasn't that interested in it. I had friends, classmates that would talk about it, and they said it was pretty cool, but maybe just at the time I didn't really know Samuel L. Jackson that much. Not until like Qui-Gon Jinn and maybe a few earlier works, like his work in like, oh God, what is it? Coming to America?
First off, he's Mace Windu, AJ.
Mace Windu.
Mace
What did I
Windu.
say?
You said Qui-Gon
Come
Jinn.
on.
Qui-Gon Jinn? Liam Neeson? Oh my
Yeah.
God. I think I just had the thought of the original trilogy in mind, and I said the first Jedi that came to mind. I'm so sorry. Thank you for catching that. Not even drunk. I've had nothing but coffee this morning. That makes it worse. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. It should be cool. No purple lightsaber. He doesn't need it. But I love the cool action with this. Doesn't he? It's like his dad and also his son are in this movie as well.
Yeah, you
Like
get
the
like
character
3
that is?
generations of Shafts.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I didn't
Insert sexual innuendo wherever, right here, whatever you want.
Yes, thank you. God. And cut to applause and laughter. There we go. Cool. But yeah, this movie looks fun. Again, doesn't take itself too seriously. Similar to Hobbs and Shaw. At least for that, we get another kind of, I don't know if you'd call it buddy cop, but something along that genre line, I would say. It wavers around that border.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, well, let's move on a little bit. We do have, again, a little bit of horror-esque, but this is definitely more slapstick, more fun, smart humor. What We Do in the Shadows, the series now, actually, not just a movie anymore, by Taika Waititi. I mean, he's still behind this one, as well as 1/3 of Flight of the Conchords, I
Jermaine
believe.
Clement.
Yes, thank you.
Is he the funny one?
They're both funny. What are you talking about?
Good call. But yeah, it does seem like a lot of fun. This seems like The Office with vampires, essentially.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
And I love Taika Waititi's comedy, so I'm all in.
It seems perfect. I can't wait for it.
And Flight of the Conchords, for that matter.
Some
That
of those
British,
episodes are good.
Australian kind of humor to it, you know?
Yeah.
It
I
looks
love their
super fun.
actual music though. They're great.
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
Yeah, you guys have played their songs on like playlists in the car and stuff like that on the way to Vegas
Years.
sometimes.
Oh yeah.
They're really fun.
Nice.
What happened to
stuff.
them? Do they still tour? I feel like they started touring again, like not long ago.
I think they came out with an album a year ago.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if they don't have the show anymore, they got to make money somehow, you know? Shit, why not? Take it on the road. For sure. All right. Well, yeah, I look forward to this show. It looks super ridiculously funny. I cannot wait. John, talk to me about Batman.
Oh, our favorite,
Yes.
our favorite, Jack Black wants to be the Penguin. Which I mean,
If there's any actor to do it, he might be the one nowadays. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head besides Danny DeVito.
He's still alive. He can still do it.
He's still alive. I don't know if he would
I
be
would
able
love
to
to
do
see
that.
I know, right?
I would love to see him come back to the Penguin.
I feel like either actor I would laugh my ass off while they're on screen for it, you know? But I feel like Jack Black could do it. But I would hope that he has his movies where he's Jack Black and not just a character.
That's
you know
where
what I mean?
that's his reputation and kind of his persona, even at like at interviews and whatnot, is just Jack Black. But he has had a couple of roles where he's not really himself.
Yeah, well, or at least he's more the straight man than anything. Like King Kong, for example.
That's the first one that comes to my mind.
Yeah,
Might
I
be the
loved
only
him
one.
as that. Actually, he's in a few other movies. God, what are some? There's one. What was it called? Vaporize or something like that.
Never heard of it.
He's like a salesman. He creates a product that disappears dog shit
Oh crap! I remember
Oh.
that.
from like the early
That's
2000s.
old,
Yeah, there's that
That's
one.
when he was branching
It's
out.
Ben Stiller was in that one.
Ben Stiller. Oh, was that the other actor?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He yes.
He
That
was
does
in
sound
one
familiar.
with Mos Def. Where
I was
they-
gonna say Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah,
Be
that
Kind,
was pretty
Rewind.
good. I
He
liked
was
it, yeah.
real. I love Jack Black in that one. Mos Def was kind of an awkward actor in that movie, but it was a good, heartwarming kind of story.
He's a bit of an awkward person, from what I can tell.
It seems like
I
it,
love
yeah.
him. Like,
Oh
but
yeah,
be
he
good out
makes
there.
good music too. Mos Def is crazy. I like him. Yeah, I'm down with Jack Black as the Penguin if that ends up being the case. I just hope that he doesn't feel like he has to be too funny. I think he naturally is an extremely funny guy. I don't think he needs to play it up just because he's the Penguin.
Nah, I don't think they would go with with the way things have been
Really?
going in
Yeah,
the DCU.
you sure?
I mean, maybe they'll make it totally funny. I just don't know if we need like School of Rock Jack Black in there. You know what I mean? Where he's like totally off the wall, silly.
I need Tenacious D, Jack Black.
There you go. Right? More dick jokes, please. But it does.
Cock push-ups.
I will say this. I just think Jack Black could be a good Penguin. Dick push-ups. Oh my God. That hit me way late. God damn it. Oh God. What was I going to say?
With
Crap.
my dick.
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
keep
thinking
interviewing
of
you.
Jack Black's
with-
erection.
I'm
Great.
interrupting you with dick things.
It's okay. Wouldn't be the first time. But anyway, no, I just think he is a good actor for it. I'm totally looking forward to this. It goes to show that DC is trying not to take itself too seriously, but that's even if this Jack Black thing is a reality, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, even if they're in talks, these things fall through all the time. Like, it might not ever
I
come
don't
to
think it's gonna
reality.
happen.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough. Well, was there anything else we needed to... Oh, yes! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Peter,
Yeah.
talk to me.
There's really not much to say.
Okay.
It's just there's gonna be they're gonna be going to Netflix, and it's gonna be brand new, completely separate from the newer movies that have been done by Michael Bay.
Yeah.
So
Is this live action or is it?
I have no idea.
That is a good question. I'd be fine with cool animation. If they could find like a new way of doing fun animation for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm all for it. If it ends up being live action, I'm willing to give it a try. We'll see what they look like, though. I'm interested to see what the character designs will be.
I
when it
wasn't a
comes
fan
out.
of the designs in the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah, they
they
looked a little
grew on
janky.
me, but I still there was still something off about them.
Sure. I will not lie. I somewhat enjoy both of those movies.
I did not watch them.
They were okay.
I saw
They're
the first one, and I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, same.
I thought I was gonna hate it, but the turtles themselves, the dynamic and the relationship between them and Splinter they nailed it. It
Yeah.
was top notch.
You could
Their
tell that
personalities were great. The way they bounce off of each other was great. Everything else is what kind of could have used a little bit of work.
A little more time in the oven
Yeah.
for sure. I agree. But no, I did love that they did feel like brothers. Like, yeah, they had fun with each other and they get along, but they don't always get along also. And you kind of get the differences between characters like Leonardo and someone like Raph, you know? They're
Right.
totally different characters. And they kind of go into that dynamic that families don't always get along, but when it comes down to it, they can work together when they need to.
Right.
And that's how they're strong. Like, you get characters like Raphael, which feels like, he's the strongest one in the group, and maybe he should be the new leader, and yet he realizes without the rest of his team, he isn't as successful. So, yeah, it's a pretty fun movie with a decent message, I would say, as well. But, yeah, overall,
I never
cool.
saw the second one, mainly because I thought they were throwing way too much in there.
Yeah.
They were throwing Krang, they were throwing Bebop and Rocksteady, and they were throwing in Casey Jones.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this
Too much.
sounds like clusterfuck all over, like just written all over it.
I'll say it was a pretty decent balance. The movie's kind of long. It's like maybe a 2-hour movie or so. So they at least took the time to be able to introduce everyone. But, I mean, it's a Michael Bay movie. You're not there for an in-depth storyline unless you're watching maybe The Island with Ewan McGregor. But, yeah, it's more just slapstick, crazy explosions everywhere.
Ever since the news of this new iteration, I've been meaning to see that one. Just to see how I like it.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's fun. It's worth watching. If you enjoyed the first one, I would say you'll enjoy the second one for sure.
All right.
It's more of the same, but a little more extra to it. Speaking of more of the same, but a little extra to it, we will get into our review of the Lego Movie Part 2 in a little bit. I don't think that we have any more news to talk about, though. I think that was about it that you guys sent
Did we
me.
talk about the Avengers yet?
Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, go ahead. Avengers Endgame.
So the Avengers runtime, as of right now, this is before I'm sure it's going to be cut down a bit, but it's 3 hours long.
Yes, that was brought up as a topic about a few episodes ago.
Was it?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was like about 3.5 hours, and we were kind of skeptical at the time. Like, is this really going to be a thing, or is this just a rough cut for now?
Well, it's official. I think prior it was rumored, but it is official that
Gotcha.
as of right now, anyway, the rough cut is 3 hours.
Gotcha. Okay, John, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, more hours the better.
Yeah, I'm ready for it, man.
For these movies, yeah, they go by so fast.
That is very
I would be
true.
totally fine with.
How long
3
is Infinity
hours.
War?
2.5.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like 2.5 hours.
Exactly.
Not at all.
No. I would say maybe the second time I watched it, I forgot how many different sequences there were and how many different team-ups there are throughout the movie. It goes back and forth. Okay, now you're back with Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, but then you have other characters along as well. You have Thor doing his thing in space with the Guardians, or at least Rocket for a while as well. It does a good job of balancing going back and forth between the different team-ups, and I enjoyed that. You go back to Wakanda a few times as well, and I'm imagining it's going to be more of the same in Endgame, but maybe they need the last half hour to have the full team come together for one final showdown against Thanos. That's my thought of how it's going to be, but I'm excited. 3 hours, give me more if you can.
And then we're getting returning characters: Ant-Man, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
True.
And then we're gonna be getting Captain Marvel whenever she decides to show up in this movie.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I didn't deep dive into this, but I heard that Anthony Mackie, I saw an article that said Anthony Mackie actually wasn't going to be in Endgame.
Oh, wow.
Like, his character isn't going to be in Endgame.
I guess technically spoilers for Infinity War 1, if you haven't seen it yet, watch it and then come back. His character does die, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's one of the people that die from the snap.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But again, who the fuck knows anymore? You can't
Yeah.
believe shit that Marvel says.
I mean, he is one of the, no offense, Anthony Mackie, but one of the smaller characters within the Marvel universe.
Sure.
I would say MCU. But I mean, he's still a fun part of it. I look forward to his little quips every time he's in the movie. But yeah, I guess I wouldn't be too surprised if he wasn't in it, but it wouldn't feel like a full-on Avengers movie without Falcon. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah, at least for Captain America's little entourage.
True. Yes, exactly. Yeah, but I mean, hey, I'm ready for Endgame. If they can give me 3.5 hours within like the director's cut that's coming out on Blu-ray, I'll take that too if that's going to be a reality also. I'm totally down. Speaking of which, though, I feel like I own the Blu-ray for Infinity War, and maybe my Blu-ray didn't come with that special feature that has like the extra storyline of Thanos. I haven't really noticed that. Have you guys watched that at all?
What?
No.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's supposed to be like an extra 20-30 minutes of Thanos story that got cut out, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
cut from the original film. Yeah, from the original cut.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you guys know about it that's listening, let us know. I'd love to hear about it. But yeah, I haven't noticed it at all. But either way, yes, Endgame, give me as much as you can. I'll take it. As long as there's not much of a drag. I feel like maybe the most drag there might be is when the team's kind of slowly building back together. Because again, as we see from the first Endgame trailer, it is a team divided. It's only Captain America, Black Widow, and a few small others. Ant-Man comes up as well. And I feel like the first maybe half hour, 45 minutes is going to be realizing some heroes are still alive and how the heck are they going to be able to communicate with each other and meet back up. So maybe 3 hours or so will be definitely necessary for this all to come out or to come through and play off nicely. I don't know. But yeah, totally excited. Anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
I think that's about it.
We all good? All right, cool.
Dive into this great movie.
Right before we do, though, I just want to let you know that this episode is sponsored and brought to you by MUZMM Bags. They pretty much make backpacks and duffel bags, kind of fusions of the two. And as we talked about in the last episode, Peter ordered his bag and actually brought it in today to show us. He carried out his big old microphone case and everything inside of it. Right, Peter?
Oh, yeah. And it's pretty great. It's got a lot of like nooks and crannies, a little hidden little zippers and pouches where you can put a bunch of your stuff. I'm going to be going overseas. I'm going to be going to China in a few months. And apparently there's a pretty big problem with theft over there.
Crazy.
Pickpockets and whatnot. And so I plan on taking this bag.
Nice.
There specifically. This is going to be the bag I carry around because there's a lot of places you can hide stuff.
Oh, nice.
And it's also built very sturdy. Just the fabric, the stitching, everything, it's really solid. Like it feels like it's going to last a very long time. I'm actually very glad that we got this sponsorship.
Yeah, for sure. It's paid off for you now. Let us know how the trip goes. But yeah, it is a cool bag. I believe you got the large charcoal design, right?
Correct.
Gotcha. A couple of the designs I liked, though, were the watermelon. Also, they have, again, they have two different sizes per bag. I do believe it's small and large. The large Caribbean design is my jam, though, for sure. But the pink watermelon, it's like a pink kind of heather pink look to it. It's pretty sick as well. But yeah, if you want to have just 20% off your order, you can go to muzmm.com/discount/STGeekPod. And you can also use the discount code STGeekPod at checkout. Again, that saves you 20% off. Thank you so much for MUZMM, pardon me, for sponsoring this episode. It's pretty rad that we have one of you to support us. And again, if you want to support us, you that's listening, go ahead and order. Again, that's muzmm.com/discount/STGeekPod. Also, if you have any questions or topics that you want us to shout you out for future episodes, you can hit us up with stgeekpod@gmail.com, Twitter and Instagram also at stgeekpod. But without further ado, let's get into Lego Movie 2, second part.
Lego Movie 2, second part. Okay.
What's the story, man?
It's a story. It picks up immediately after the first one.
Immediately, yeah.
Right after.
And then there's a time jump and everything's not awesome.
It goes like 5 years later.
5 years in the
yep.
future.
Yes.
Or later. And everything's not awesome, and everything's different. Everybody's all dark and gritty. There's like a Mad Max kind of
Very
feel.
Mad Max
Feel to it. Except for Emmett. He's still same old jolly, oblivious Emmett.
Yeah. Oblivious is the perfect word for it. He doesn't care about his surroundings. He kind of makes the best out of anything. Right. As if nothing really changed about his
He makes
routine.
everything awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going non-spoilers first, right?
Yeah, not non-spoilers.
Okay,
Let's just talk about what the movie was.
It was a Lego movie. There was Legos.
Yep. So then let's see. Then the conflict happens. We get like a weird spaceship come in and it takes some people, and then Emmett has to go find them and bring them back and rescue his friends. One of which is his girlfriend, or
Special best friend.
Special best friend. They actually don't say girlfriend.
I like the way they put that. Actually, that was kind of cool.
I guess you got to do that in a kids movie, sure.
I guess so. But I would have to say, since you said kids movie, this is definitely, out of the 3 Lego movies or I guess now 4 Lego movies I've seen, this is definitely the more kid-friendly out of all of them. I would say I loved the humor for the first Lego movie. I think Lego Batman was
the best.
Spot on for sure. Those have like a little bit of adult tones and just fun little quips and jokes and like little backhanded comments throughout each film that are more for like the adults' ears to understand than the children's. I would say the children audience. It felt weird saying anyway, but I felt like this one was definitely more geared towards children. I mean, there were still fun themes to it. I loved Unikitty, the character from the first film, was even more badass in this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, she becomes like a gigantic tigress that like also boosts, like has like a fire breath that helps them boost across the desert on like this go-kart thing that they have, or like dune buggy, if you will. And then she becomes like an intergalactic spaceship as well, which is pretty sick also. But ultimately though, yeah, this movie, I have to say before we get into spoilers, it didn't live up to the first one, or to what Lego Movie 2, or I'm sorry, Lego Batman or Ninjago did.
I believe it only made $34 million for the weekend.
Oh, really?
That's considered underwhelming for it.
Oh, understandable. But we do have a lot of the same returning cast, which I did appreciate. Elizabeth Banks is still Wild Style or Lucy. Margot Robbie plays Harley Quinn, which is a very small part.
Super small.
How do you guys like Aquaman in this movie?
Was it Jason Momoa? Okay. Because he does like the Jason Momoa thing.
Yeah.
My man.
Exactly.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Same super kind of vibe.
So that was Harley Quinn in the...
Yeah.
in the spacesuit?
Oh no.
Are
She
we
was
talking
in the
about in
beginning.
Batman?
There's just in the background there are different like characters.
I
Like
must have missed her completely.
Oh yeah,
She's
because
like, yeah, you can't do
quick,
it,
small
Emmett.
part.
And then you kind of, it's
Yeah, it's
very
super quick.
Okay, yeah,
but
I
yeah,
missed
there
that.
are actually like 3 Harley Quinns in this movie. There's like a Lego Harley Quinn, and then a larger size, and then there's like a Duplo version of Harley Quinn as well. For those of you that may be unfamiliar with what Duplo is, they're like a kid version of, or like a toddler version of Lego, you would say.
I didn't know. I was
really?
wondering. I was wondering why they kept. I was like, "What's this Duplo?" I had no
okay.
idea that was a thing.
Yeah, as a like a very, I remember being like
That makes it
4 or 5
even
years
funnier.
old. I had those as a kid. Yeah.
So I'm surprised to hear you guys didn't like this movie as much as the first, because I liked it way more than the
Oh,
first.
really?
movie.
Really?
No, nowhere near as good as
Okay.
Lego Batman was.
Of course.
But I like this movie infinitely better than the first.
Wow. Okay. Get into it. Talk to me.
So I think the problem with the first one is that it takes a while to get going.
Okay.
Plot wise, like the conflict, and then you're not really sure how this universe works quite yet. Like you understand the Lego portion, and then they start introducing the spoilers for the first Lego movie, I guess. They start introducing the real world aspects to it, which is where it got interesting for me. Was when
Okay.
they started tying that stuff in. When you started seeing the real life, the real replicas, relics, they're called.
Oh yes.
And all of that stuff. And so for this movie, knowing that already going in, I was already kind of trying to piece together what's actually happening. As the plot's unfolding in the Lego world, I'm trying to figure out how this is actually
Playing
happening
out-
in the real world.
Yes, I see.
Which
Okay.
which isn't too difficult to do in a lot of cases, which we'll get into in spoilers.
Yeah.
But there were some things that kind of it took me by surprise. I was intrigued through this one throughout the entire film, as opposed to the first one where it took a while for it to buy me in.
All right, no, I can respect that opinion for sure. John, what would you say the story was, just to briefly put it? How does this movie go?
I think it was a nice kid adventure.
Okay.
I mean,
For sure. Well, I mean, we have Emmett. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, it was
Continue.
just super kiddie. That was my thing about it, was it felt very kiddie, but it still had like that nice adventure to it. How you get like those Mad Max themes, then you get the space themes, which was pretty cool. Had some nice comedy to it.
I thought the comedy was better in this than the first one.
Really?
I think so.
I feel like it wasn't as.
I thought Batman was funny in this one.
Batman was still funny in this. Yeah. I feel like maybe if it
How many
could've still
movies have they
used
made
more of
about
him.
you? 9,
that's
and then
so
3
messed
others
up.
in various stages of development.
That was such a great little joke. See, we still get Will Arnett being Will Arnett as Batman, which is great and all. But yeah, I just felt like something about it was lacking. I felt like maybe the voice actors didn't get as much say as to what their characters were doing in this movie, or maybe they didn't get to look at what the footage was like while they're voice acting. A lot of times in voice acting, you don't get to see what's happening on screen. You're more so just told, here's the script, this is what's happening in the scene, have fun with it.
This is what your emotion's supposed to be.
Yes.
Have at it.
And I feel like in the first movie, also in Lego Batman and Ninjago also, I feel like maybe they were given more detail, or maybe they just cared more, or maybe they were able to see test footage for the scenes that they were recording for specifically, so they were able to add little jokes in. And I feel like we didn't get that many added jokes in this movie. I don't know. I just felt it didn't feel as sincere to the voice acting. I feel like these actors that are playing these voices are way funnier than this movie allowed them to be, as compared to the first movie and compared to Lego Batman. Just for a brief example, that's just my thought on it, though. Maybe that's maybe, and I don't know if that's to the movie's detriment. It was for me personally. Maybe the script just wasn't as good to me. It wasn't as comedic anyway.
Well, I think me trying to interpret what you're saying,
Sure.
it might have something to do with the fact that all of the characters had a lot more to do in the first one.
Okay.
They had a lot more lines, whereas this one, it's like the space guy, the pirate dude,
Rex Dangerbell.
yeah, or not even
Danger Vest, was it?
I don't
Dangerbell,
remember what
something
his
like
last
that.
name was. But all the characters from the first movie really kind of take backstage in this one. They don't have too many lines. They don't have a lot of opportunity to be funny. Because
Okay.
we're mostly stick with Emmett throughout most of this
Throughout the-
movie.
yeah.
Emmett and what's her name? Lucy is
Lucy?
Wild Style.
Yeah. It goes back
It's
and forth
mostly
between
their
them two.
story.
Yeah, that's
And then
true.
everybody else is just kind of there. Whereas in the first one, you kind of get a little bit of time with each character to kind of
Get more development with
Yeah,
them.
More
exactly.
supporting characters get more play in the first one.
Exactly.
I would say. I do agree with you on that, and maybe that's why I liked the first one a little more. It's just because I felt like there were so many good characters in that one, and in this one I feel like some of them were a little lacking. Again, I mean, Batman plays not as fun of a role in this one. Spoilers in.
All right, I guess spoilers.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Okay, so Rex Dangervest. He's Chris Pratt. I loved that. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, okay.
And when he introduced himself, he's like Raptor Trainer.
He
He's like,
still describes himself as Chris Pratt when he lost all the weight and stuff.
yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
love that.
yeah. He's basically Chris Pratt, which I loved.
Raptor Tamer.
Yeah, I don't remember the other things
And then
he
he
said.
said,
All sorts of
Lost
things.
the baby weight, so my features showed more.
Yeah. I loved it. So many inside jokes to like what John was saying earlier about how there's jokes in there for adults also. Kids aren't quite gonna get everything.
All those references to his career, you
Yeah,
can say.
which I love that. So it's Chris Pratt, but then it turns out it's more than Chris Pratt. It's double Chris Pratt because it's Emmett from the future.
Yes, which I thought was a weird twist.
It doesn't make any sense, but they even make fun of it. They're just like, don't think about it too hard. Just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
There's a line in there
I
somewhere.
love the nods to the Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, we took the flux capacitor.
Sorry, Doc.
And then
like
he
that.
stole the Doctor Who's TARDIS thing, and I don't remember
The
what.
hot
Oh,
tub.
the hot
The
tub.
hot tub from Hot Tub Time Machine. Is
And
that
Yeah.
what that
Bill,
reference
Bill
was?
and Ted's
Oh yeah,
phone booth thing.
Yes.
yeah. All of those nods, they were great. I loved it.
Essentially, how does this character come to be? It's like Emmett at one point in the movie gets tossed under
I guess
a dryer.
yeah. In an alternate timeline, Emmett gets tossed under a dryer.
Yeah.
And kind of gets stayed there, and he gets all hardened because he gets all tough, and then he's able to like.
He's like left alone for years.
Yeah,
And then
he was
he-
hoping his friends would get him.
Yeah,
and it
but
never
then he
happens.
gets so upset that he's able to like rage himself into being a Lego person in the real world. Like he
Yes.
could actually move and shit, which they also make fun of later on. Even
That was pretty hilarious. I love the body language with that.
yeah.
For those of you that may be familiar or unfamiliar, for that matter, in the first Lego movie, and when it shows Legos trying to interact within the real world, like the world we exist in, they don't really move very well. Like they kind of just pop around at best, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it kind of shows Rex Dangervest. Yeah, that is his name. He kind of like Peter was saying, he's able to actually compose himself and move around within the real world as well because he's so hardened from being left under a dryer for years and years.
So when they introduced that character, when he first came in and saved Emmett from the asteroid field, for a good minute, I was like, is this Master Chief?
oh yeah, his helmet, right?
His helmet was
Yeah.
like very Master Chief-esque, and then like it didn't look like a vest to me at the beginning. It kind of looked like it was like Mjolnir armor.
Yeah,
like
sure.
So I was like, are they gonna? But in my head, I already knew that Halo has no association with Lego because Lego doesn't like properties that have guns and violence and stuff.
yeah,
anything
okay.
Halo related is Mega Blocks.
Mega Blocks, exactly.
So I was like, it can't be. But it looked a lot like Master Chief.
No, yeah, for sure. I agree with that for sure. Yeah, I thought it was like a blue Spartan for that matter.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I was excited for that. Yeah, also there was just to talk real quick, I have to branch out with this. I love the different properties. You still get a lot of different Lego properties that are incorporated with this. You get Gandalf that is directly referenced, and like he falls down a cliff and says something.
Armageddon.
Yeah, yes, Armageddon, which I kind of caught on to right away. I didn't know how it was going to come into play, but
It was gonna be the mom.
That's
Yeah.
what I was saying too. Like, it's not hard to figure out what they're referencing, like the bin of storage,
yes.
and Armageddon. Like you can figure out exactly what those are supposed to be, but then it's how we get there and how it plays out that it's the mystery.
What was the name of the galaxy? The Seven Sisters.
Sistar. It's the
Sistars, yeah.
Sistar system. It's like, okay, obviously.
And I think it was like the Dryer realm or something like that when
Yeah.
he gets tossed under the dryer on accident. Little silly things like that are pretty great. But I loved, again, you get all these cool little Lego properties that Lego has license of. And there's a point where I think it's a DC character. It might have even been Superman where, we tried calling Marvel, but they won't return our calls.
Yeah.
'Cause we still don't get any like Marvel characters in these
I
movies at
love
all.
that joke so much.
Yeah.
I think they're borrowing anybody from the Warner Brothers
I
company
guess
because
that
I
makes
think
sense.
this movie's Warner Brothers and
Yeah.
everything.
They are.
Not everything. I mean, Back to the Future is not Warner Brothers.
Is it
What
not?
is it?
It's Universal.
Oh, good
Oh,
call.
shit,
I didn't know
okay.
that.
Yeah, they've been borrowing properties.
They take a lot of
apparently just not
liberties in
Marvel.
these movies.
Just Marvel,
Maybe-
maybe Disney in general.
Doctor Who's, BBC.
Maybe it's because it's not a Disney movie. That's why Marvel won't do it. I wonder.
I would imagine. I
That-
imagine
that's
that's
just-
the case.
It could be so much greater if they did. I feel like it's only a matter of time. Well, I don't know. Since this movie underperformed, that maybe we won't get like a specific just like Marvel Universe Lego movie. But we'll see. I don't know. Lego would probably have to pay them a lot in order to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the legal rights or the ramifications are of that, but I would love to see that happen
This
one
ain't
day.
the Star Wars prequels, AJ. Why are we talking movie politics?
I'm just saying, man. All right. Anyway, so I love the movie. I don't know. Actually, no, I can't say I loved it. I think I love certain aspects of it. I love that the alien weaponry are all like cute little hearts and stars with like little toddler voices to them. I thought that was pretty adorable, like we see in the trailer.
Hello.
Yeah. Goodbye. Yeah. That was pretty adorable. The "It's so cold" little star and everything like that. That was pretty. Actually, it was kind of. It seemed a little dark to me because they're so adorable and everything like that, but they end up ultimately exploding on contact. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of toddlers exploding, I guess.
I liked the whole plot overall. I thought was pretty good. I don't know if it's just me, because I have a little sister, as you both know.
Yeah.
And so this movie kind of spoke to me in a way that it may have not spoken to others.
Sure.
So
no, I feel you. I have a couple little sisters as well.
Yeah. So the whole them trying to get along and like the mother trying to just get them to like play with each other. And then there's a part at the end, towards the end, when you realize that Queen, whatever I want to be or whatever the fuck her name was, she wasn't evil after all, because that's like the big plot in the middle is like when she introduces herself, she's like, "I'm not evil. You should trust me."
Yes.
But obviously they don't.
Yeah.
Why would you say? Why would you trust anybody that says you can trust me? Yeah.
Song. It was great.
Yeah, that was fun. There's a lot more songs in this than I was expecting.
There were, but I want to say like maybe that was padding because maybe they didn't have enough to go on, and so they just added songs to it. I thought the songs were clever though.
They were fun.
I can't speak too much against them. I just feel like maybe it was padding.
The song will get stuck in your head, which didn't, by the way.
No.
I don't even remember how the beat goes.
They bring
it's not
back,
as catchy as Everything Is Awesome.
Yeah, which they bring back in this movie in a way. They like remix it a little bit, which was still cool. But again, that one is definitely the more catchy song of the two, I would have to say.
Yeah. So I loved it. And then I just love the twist, like the moment where there's the moment where Lucy and the space lady. Do we even know who that character ended up being underneath the helmet?
I forget who.
Because I thought that was Harley Quinn. I was like, is this supposed to be Harley Quinn?
Similar color scheme, I would say. Yeah, like the blue and pink and all that.
Yeah. So, but did we even get her name?
Maybe it wasn't very memorable.
Anyway, like when she explains to Lucy, like, no, we really are the good people. Like, we just want to play with you. Like, we look up to you.
Yeah.
Like, we've always looked up to you. Like, I was just like, oh God, my heart.
I have been a bad brother.
Yeah.
I need to call my sister and hang out.
Oh God.
Exactly. No, I feel you there. But yeah, that was kind of. It was almost the same message as the first one, in that I guess like the little boy in the first movie ends up a little older, and he has a younger sister, which is referenced at the end of the first one and referenced throughout this new movie. And it's essentially the brother not really wanting to get along with the sister. He kind of just wants to play the way he wants to play without the little sister kind of interrupting that. And at one point he like wrecks everything that she's making. They get in a big fight, and then you get the mom character coming into play, which I thought was pretty hilarious. A quick little bit there. By Maya Rudolph.
Yeah,
she like
great.
steps on the Lego
Legos
block
multiple times.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh my God, is that a Lego piece? Did I step on the block?" Childbirth,
right here. It's right there. It's on the
level. Pretty fun little acting bit right there. We don't get much of her, but we didn't need it. I was looking.
We get a bit of Will Ferrell,
just his voice.
His voice.
I think the only actual footage of him we get is like clips of the first movie, if I remember correctly.
There's the part in the beginning where he, like the very beginning, when the little sister alien people are invading, and then he's just they're like, President Business, could you help us? And he's just like, no, I'm gonna go golfing, you guys seem to have this, play nice. And then he just takes off,
right? And at the end he comes back, and he comes back and everything's fine by the time he does. It's a silly little movie though. It was fun. Again, I have my gripes about it. I think some parts were absolutely adorable, but other part and very funny, but for the most part though, I thought it dragged for me, especially like the second third of the movie. It was just okay.
Like you said, I thought the songs were just filler. That it made them drag.
I think I thought the songs were pretty fun. The sequences in which they were pretty good. The one that I feel like was unnecessary was the Batman and Queen whatever I want to be one. That was a little weird. Although I did like when Batman jumped in and started rapping. That was pretty fun.
That was kind of cool. Yeah. His costume's pretty interesting in this movie as well. When he becomes royalty,
I loved it.
A white coat, white cape. That's actually exactly what he looked like. Was that supposed to be the reference? Because if not, it was spot on as Elton John, I would have to say. I don't know.
It was good.
It was pretty funny.
Superman and Green Lantern were friends, actually.
Yeah, Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum come back to reprise their roles as that.
Luthor.
Yeah, Lex Luthor was there.
We actually get Bruce Willis as Bruce Willis.
I forgot about that. I love that. They came back to that so many times.
Bruce
Willis?
Like,
he's like, yeah, I spend a lot of time in air ducts.
Yes.
I don't live here.
Oh, Charlie Day comes back as like the astronaut,
dude.
spaceship astronaut guy. Yeah.
Yep.
He does that a lot in this movie as well. Ralph Fiennes is still Alfred Pennyworth, but I feel like he didn't even really have a line. It was more just kind of fun physical comedy between Batman and Alfred for just a quick moment.
Yeah.
Actually, Kobe Smulders, who plays Robin from How I Met Your Mother. I guess she played
Not to
Wonder
be
Woman in
confused
this
with
movie.
Robin from the Batman mythos.
Yes, thank you. Yes, but yeah, apparently she played Wonder Woman in this movie.
Oh, okay.
And not Gal Gadot, which I thought was pretty interesting. Gal Gadot.
It's Godot.
Thank you. Okay. I feel like that's been going back and forth, and I never know which one to go with. But ultimately, though, it was a fun movie. I would say, if you want, you have nothing else to see in theaters, go watch that. I'd rather
kids.
Yeah, take your kids for sure.
I actually took 2 kids.
Oh, really?
My girlfriend and I were babysitting, and we took 2 kids.
Do they like it?
They're kids. They'll like whatever you put in front of them.
Oh, okay, for sure. It was stimulating.
Actually, that's not true. The younger one kind of was getting bored until the music kicked in, and then she started getting into it. So maybe the music's there for your kids.
Gotcha.
Maybe that's the purpose.
Yeah, I felt slightly out of place in this movie just because I felt like, again, it was more of a kid-friendly movie, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with a kid movie. They exist for a reason. They have an audience, obviously. But I just felt like it was a bit of a difference from the first movie, Lego Batman, and Ninjago as well. Like, even Ninjago, I don't want to spoil anything about it because you guys haven't seen it. Not that the storyline's super important, but it deals with some adult themes as far as, like, divorce, not having family, not growing up with a dad and stuff like that.
Damn.
So it gets pretty dark and personal, and it's done with like some adult humor to it as well. Obviously, no real cursing in it, but it does have it deals with real life problems in a very comedic, dark way. It's pretty good. So and I feel like I didn't really get that much of that in this movie, which was unfortunate. It just felt like too much of a departure.
Really? I mean,
It was
it's your opinion, but I'm just surprised.
It was more of the same, but also not enough at the same time. Which I again, it's nothing wrong with making a kids movie. It's mainly, of course, geared towards kids. Yeah. But as a 30-year-old man, I felt like I enjoyed the first 2 very much so compared to this one. But again, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Peter. John, what would you rate this one?
I would probably take a kid. I don't think you should watch it if you're an adult.
Yeah.
Don't take a girl out on a date to see this.
I did, but she really wanted to see it, and I did too. I don't want to downplay this movie too much. It was fun. I was tired when I watched it. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. I was pretty sleepy, but for the most part, I mean, I was awake. I was watching it. I laughed out loud for multiple parts. It just didn't live up to the first one for me. That's all.
I think your argument for it being too long is valid, but I think the reason, because it kind of has.
God damn, it's an hour and 47 minutes. It's almost 2 hours.
It feels longer than that, to be honest.
It does a little
And I feel like
bit.
it's mostly because of the last, 15, 20 minutes or so, where that's where the plot kind of takes a turn.
Oh, where it's at the end.
No, not even that. I talk about the part where the twist happens, and it turns out that the bad guys are actually the good guys, and the bad guys Emmett, and then they introduce the time thing, and then a whole nother conflict kind of comes into play out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It starts getting a bit long there, but the conflict really, because it was so different, it was so out of nowhere. That's what it kept me engaged personally. Sure. I could see how some people would lose some people at that point is what I'm saying. But for me personally, it kept me hooked. And then the fake out, one of the kids that we took said out loud, that's the end?
Oh, wow.
And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, fuck, are they really gonna
just
have a Empire Strikes Back ending like this?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, is that why it's called the second part? Are they already planning a third part?
I see.
But then that didn't end up being the case.
Yeah,
but it really took everyone by surprise.
Yeah. What Peter's talking about is at the near the
They
end of the
saw it,
movie.
weren't spoilers.
Oh yeah, you're right. Fair enough. Yeah, but yeah, screen says the end, not really the end. Movie goes on. But yeah, I thought I almost would have been fine with the ending that way. That way, it would have made the third one a little more lively.
The third one, just kind of be like, wait, what
yeah, exactly.
Right, what happened?
For a second, I got really excited. I was like, holy shit, they're really doing this in a kids movie.
Mm-hmm, right, dark ending, no happy ending to this.
Yeah.
Everything isn't so awesome, which you find out is kind of the cure to the, I guess, problem in this movie, that not everything has to be so perfect. It's more so just collaboration and having fun with each other.
Great
and that
message.
everyone has a good idea. Yeah. Or everyone's capable of having a good idea, I guess you could say.
Awesome.
Yeah, I could see myself maybe renting this one in the future. I could definitely see myself buying the first one and watching it with, if I have kids one day, I can watch it with them. This one we'll have to wait a few years down the line. I don't know. But first one's
It's a
still a
pass for
buy.
me.
This one's maybe you rent it.
Yeah, pass for John.
I'd buy this one.
Oh, really?
I don't think I'd ever watch the first one again, to be honest.
Cool. There you go.
But I'd buy
There
this
you go.
one.
I feel like
Different opinions.
we haven't had 3 different opinions as far as a movie goes, at least in the history of this podcast. So that's pretty cool to see that we have a skip it, rent
And
it,
this
and
movie
a
of
buy
all
it.
things. That's
Yeah,
weird.
that's true. This is the one we're most divided on.
Yeah.
This is when we end.
Right, exactly. Dang. This is the apocalypse.
I like
for
the
sure.
joke in the beginning where it was just like, "Where's Batman? Oh, he's off having his own solo adventure."
Yeah.
Oh, and then they also did the Jaeger thing, the Pacific Rim beginning part. We kept building bigger, and they kept on
that's
taking
right.
us
Oh
down.
yeah.
The mech and all that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I didn't catch that reference.
Yeah, that's a
That
good point,
happened right at
actually.
the beginning.
That's actually pretty cool. I thought it was interesting that they actually made Emmett in a way a bad guy. Like he's still like the original Emmett that we know is still his same old self who questions himself near the end. But at the same time, the other bad guy, Rex Dangervest, is like an evil version of Emmett from an alternate timeline. I thought that was pretty cool in that he starts off the same old Emmett, but then becomes dark and brooding and all that.
I think this movie's deeper. No, I don't mean to call you guys out on
No,
anything, but I
please,
think
go
it's
ahead.
deeper than you both realize because
Damn, he just called us out.
He called us
You got
dense.
me dumb.
He called us shallow-minded. Damn.
It's all right. Batman's like that.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
Batman v Superman, masterpiece. You guys just don't understand it.
Yeah, hey.
It's too big for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem with that movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the movie needed more raptors.
More raptors. I actually really loved that scene, especially
The
when it shows
raptors,
him
that
tame them
raptors were
originally.
great.
That was pretty
Well,
cool.
the reason I say that,
Yeah,
the
please.
whole like being too big, is because you really start to see, like Rex Dangervest is essentially the teenage kid's desire to be grown up, which is what teenagers you kind of deal with you kind of deal with it even as you're a kid, but especially when you're a teenager, you're kind of in that middle ground where I'm too young or I'm too old to be a kid, but I'm not quite an adult, but you're reaching for being an adult.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring that up is because there's one joke, a couple of jokes actually, that he makes throughout the movie talking about like cool adult stuff.
Yeah.
Like the part where he disappears, he's just like, "Oh, I
Great.
called it. I'm Back to the Futuring it." And he's just like, "What's that?" And he's just like, "Oh, it's just a cool movie adults like, or like cool guys like
that kids
cool
can't
cool grown-ups like." And there's
Yeah.
even another reference to something like that with the Matrix earlier in the movie. I don't remember what it was, but I remember
You've seen
they
the
do.
Matrix and you want to come back.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, "What's the Matrix?"
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that is a fair point.
So
That-
like
that
the
is
whole
true.
movie, the conflict of the movie essentially is just the boy's imagination and the girl's imagination and the conflicts between the two and how they kind of just end up resolving, which again might just be it speaking to me personally because
No, that's
I have
good.
a
I
little
like
sister
that.
and stuff.
Mhm.
But if you have a little sister, you'll love this movie. Maybe
or
maybe
younger
the,
sibling in general that you
Yeah.
clash with. Yeah,
Sure.
it's a good one. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Yeah, I have 2 younger sisters that we've had plenty of clashings throughout the years. Since then, we've matured a little bit more. But yeah, John has a younger sibling as well. So each of us here on this couch can relate to this story for sure. Again, it was a good message. I do agree with you in that, and I think that's a good observation that you have as well as far as the character of the boy that we get in this movie. The human child, that feels weird to say, as opposed to the Lego children in this movie.
Yep.
But yeah, it was really cool. Liked it. An easy-ish rent for me. That's about it, though.
that's fun.
For sure.
You guys are wrong.
Fair enough. I respect that. Anything else you guys wanted to touch on before we call it for a day?
I think that about covers it.
All right, cool. Take us away, Peter.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Screen Testers Geek.
Later on.
Peace.
Later.
Check.
Check.
Check your booty.